The corrupt, lying, rage, and hate-filled media mob, they're at it again, spinning in circles. For the last 24 straight hours, they have again breathlessly, hysterically been echoing a report from the Washington Post claiming that this unknown person from the intel community allegedly filed a whistleblower complaint about a troubling promise that President Trump made to another world leader on the phone. So, did President Trump promise to send billions of free fuel and nuclear infrastructure to North Korea? No, wait a minute. That's what President Bill Clinton did. Did he promise to give $150 billion in cash and other currencies to the mullahs of Iran? No, that was President Obama. Did he promise to be more flexible with Vladimir after the election? But don't tell the American people, Mr. Medvedev, that I'm going to be more flexible. Just tell my buddy Vladimir. That was President Obama, too. It was actually all caught on tape.
This is my last election for you. Yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility. Yeah. I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir.
I understand. I transmit to Vladimir. You know, does Vladimir know about the compromising materials? Yes, but of course, naked pics of Trump. This is how crazy they all are. So let's recap here. We have Roswell, Rachel Maddow, yes, America's #1 psycho conspiracy theorist, and all of our fellow Russia, impeach, collusion, stormy, obsessed conspiracy theorists in the media mob. They didn't really seem to care at all about Obama's promise to Vladimir or Clinton's promise to North Korea or the money that they dumped on the mullahs in Iran. But they will run wall-to-wall coverage about it. At best, a nebulous story where we don't know the identity of the whistleblower. We don't know any details of the allegations. We don't know which world leader was referenced. Nobody has a clue what the so-called promise was. Naturally, nobody else in the media that is now echoing what the Washington Post says ever decided to independently verify these unknown claims on their own that this unknown individual is making. So tonight, the Washington Post is adding to their unknown report that the whistleblower's complaint involves the country of Ukraine. Now, I was happy at this news. Maybe they will give us information that they said that they want to give us that we have not taken yet about their influence in the 2016 election to help Hillary Clinton. Or maybe they're going to tell us, why they really gave in to Joe Biden's pressure, basically leveraging $1 billion of our taxpayer dollars. Here's what we also know. We do know that key facts, details don't matter to this mob, this media mob. Rush Limbaugh pointed out, you can tell these people any single thing you want. They'll report it verbatim so long as it can be used to smear Trump. It goes like this. One network reports a salacious story. No sources, no specifics. And every other outlet, they repeat it, and they get all whipped up into a frenzy. It's like a circular firing squad. This network of themselves only. Now, that's what we saw today, what is a rage, psychotic level of speculation, hysteria on nearly every single solitary network over what is one sketchy story with no details, no specifics from Bezos's Washington Post. Hour after hour after hour, and it's exactly what the vengeful Trump haters in the deep state wanted. It fits a pattern. After all, this is not the first leak on Donald Trump from the intel community that was designed to smear President Trump. Remember, just a few days ago, when the media mob, they went crazy about that report that a high-level U.S. spy had to be extracted from Moscow because President Trump couldn't be trusted with secret information. Well, that turned out to be, more fake news. The spy was actually extracted because of reasons unrelated at all to President Trump that dated back to the Obama administration. And the real reason for the extraction turned out to be, nothing to do with Trump. No, the extraction was due to the media coverage. They put the guy's life in jeopardy. Then after the story breaks and the guy's back here, the media did everything in their power to expose not only the person's identity, but pretty much give Vladimir Putin the guy's home address, which would be a clear and present danger to him and his family. So it's now perfectly clear that as President Trump dismantles and exposes the deep state, many bureaucrats who hate him, they will do nothing to destroy his presidency. By the way, how did they get this information? Let's not forget the chilling comment. See that senator from New York, Chucky Schumer, in 2017. You mess with the intel community, they've got 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. Really? that what they're going to do with the powerful tools of intelligence we give them? Get back at us? Take a look.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
They have 6 ways in Sunday to get back at you. So we're going to give them the most powerful tools of intelligence to protect us. Then they're going to turn that weaponry on us or any president they don't like. Now, we know members of the intel community under President Obama. We already know they spied on President Trump's associates and, yes, his campaign, his transition and presidency. We know about the informants and undercover agents, the outsourcing of intelligence to our allies to circumvent U.S. laws. Well, we also know that they are not happy that President Trump, some of them, the very small minority, exposing their gross misconduct. So with each and every leak, every so-called bombshell report, we're seeing a very petty attempt at revenge 6 ways from Sunday from only a few bad actors who hate the president. And like Groundhog Day, the media mob, they hate the president. They buy it all hook, line, sinker with no facts at all.